you're going to need a lot of money in retirement, a lot of money. It's unbelievable how much, because we're living so much longer, and that requires health care and all that kind of stuff. All right, so think about your why all throughout the day, and love to hear people share their whys. If we get a chance, love to hear all about yours, especially if you're here for the first time. Let's switch gears and talk about the energy industry and deregulation. For those of you that are here for the first time and don't understand deregulation, I'll make it quite simple for you after I give you some examples of how deregulation has occurred previous to energy. So in the late 1970s, the airline industry deregulated. Does anybody remember when that was happening, occurring? I was fairly young, so I don't remember it very well. But what happened was they busted up that industry, and fares started to decline. It seems like we're going back now with all the consolidation. I think there's only 3 airlines, but nonetheless, that was a very successful deregulation. The challenge with it is the only people that really benefited are these companies that you see here on the bottom. There wasn't any ability for network marketers to be involved in the deregulation of the airline industry and make money. The next wave of deregulation was telecommunications. I definitely remember the days of our dinner phone ringing off the hooks, people trying to get us switched Sprint, MCI, and all this stuff. You probably all remember that. And some of you may have been involved in companies like Excel, where they did use network marketing to allow people to make an income, and a lot of millionaires were made during that time period. What's the number, Jason? Estimated millionaires at Excel?
6,000.
6,000 millionaires. That's a big number. But that compares nothing to the size of what energy deregulation is going to be. And just like our company is getting started, energy deregulation in the US really is just getting started. The first state to deregulate was the state of Georgia, and that was in 1997. So we're really only a few years down the road. In Texas, it's only been deregulated for about 11 years. There are 33 other states that don't have any deregulation at all occurring in them. They will over time as legislatures get pushed by the populace and the people to deregulate, to try to introduce lower prices, but more importantly, innovation in products. Because if you're a big monopoly, a big utility, you really don't have to worry too much about your customers leaving you because they have nowhere else they can go, right? So what happens in deregulated places is lots of competitors come in, enter the market. For example, in Texas, when we started in 2010, there were 43 companies selling products in the state of Texas, 43. And prior to that, there were 5. So a huge amount of innovation came in, a lot of resources put to creating new product types, fixed term products, variable term products. Green was introduced for the first time. We actually did that at Direct. We offered the first fixed term green product in the industry in about 2004. And so this space of deregulation, again, is still very small. But what that means to you is there's tons of opportunity. And even where places have deregulated, there are still so many consumers that need information about it. They're just not aware, or they think they just need to stick with their old utility. So there's a huge opportunity to talk to people, get them involved in this business, and participate in it. And I love the quote. Ephraim's not here with us today. Hello, Ephraim. I'm sure you're on the InfinityGlobal.tv. We're running live today. But Ephraim says, decide now if you'd rather be just a customer of energy deregulation or a well-compensated participant. That's just such a sweet comment, I think. And that's what it's really all about. So how does deregulation work? Everybody remembers the old monopolies. So here in Houston, we had Houston Light and Power for years and years. I think they were around 70 years. In Dallas, it was TXU. And what they did is they busted up those companies into 3 pieces. The first piece is the generation. So the people and the companies that create the electricity or deliver or capture the natural gas, that is sort of put to the side as generation, okay? The middle piece is distribution. And these are companies like CenterPoint, They have control of the power lines. They're making sure that the energy is flowing, that it's been scheduled properly, and that it meets the needs, especially in weather outages or times of heavy weather, that everybody gets as much power as they want. They also used to have a lot of guys in trucks going around reading meters, but CenterPoint has 98% implemented smart meters, so you never see those guys anymore. They're analysts in offices now reading every 15 minutes how much energy you've used. They still have the guys that have to fix the poles and wires when there's a hurricane, but not the meter readers. And then the retail side is where we play. And the retailers, they are the ones that sell products to customers, serve the customer, send them a bill. In Texas, at least, retailers send a bill. Not true in all the other deregulated states across the U.S. But those are the three pieces, and companies can participate in either the middle piece or the two outer pieces. So for example, CenterPoint can never be a generator, and it can never be a retailer. It's a regulated distribution company. And that's why CenterPoint charges all retailers the same price for every single customer and passes that on to, we pass that on to the consumers. A company, though, can be a generator and a retailer. Direct Energy is a good example of that. They have 4 or 5 power plants in the state of Texas. They also have some wind farm agreements. So they generate power, they sell it to the grid, and then they also serve customers. Make sense? Today we are a retailer. Eventually we'll be both, I'm sure.
All right. All right.
All right, we've covered that. Energy. Why sell market energy? Well, a lot of people think it's a really kind of boring thing. But what I tell all my friends is I love being involved in this product because when I go to sleep at night, I'm still making money.
Yes, sir.
Because somebody's got their radio on.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's cooking a late night meal. Somebody's washing their clothes during the evening or watching TV or on their internet. And that meter is spinning. And when that meter spins, we all make money. Yes. Right, Russ?
Yeah. Yes. That's a good thing.
And then I say, well, do you make money when you're asleep?
Right.
No. Because I have to be at my job to be making money. The energy industry is a $1.2 trillion energy industry, and that's just in the U.S. Just imagine, I don't even know what the global number is anymore. It's too huge to even fathom. But millions and millions of customers. There are 79 million meters in the United States that are in deregulated places that can be potential customers. Everyone uses it, every single person, and it's a growing global opportunity as well, with other countries that are going to open up. Some countries are already open, like Australia. The UK has been open for 20 years now. France and Germany are just getting started. Canada is open. And then there are other places like Brazil and Japan, which will open over the next 2 years. All right, a little bit about Enfiniti Global, how we got started. We are the exclusive network marketing arm for Entrust Energy. And Entrust Energy was a company that started in August of 2010 right here in this building. I joined Tom Gilpin as the 5th employee, and Tom had come across from Australian Power and Gas. So a lot of you know that our 2 primary investors are a group of Australians and then a institutional company called Nippon Gas. And Tom Gilpin was with Australian Power and Gas. He started there in 2006, and they took that company from 0 customers to 350,000 in just 4 years. And they became Australia's fastest growing company for 2 years in a row, 2011 and 2012. And that wasn't energy companies, that was all companies in the country of Australia.
Wow.
Very successful. In 2010, they decided that they wanted to expand out of Australia. They didn't think Australia was big enough for what they could do. And so they decided to start with Texas. They sent Tom over here with his family and said, go build a Texas business, which is exactly what he's done over the last 4 years. Today, Entrust Energy has crossed the 250,000 customer mark. It's just unbelievable. And we actually had to ask Nettie to update this PowerPoint because the last time we did this, it only had 150,000 in it. So like in just the span of the last 4 months, they've grown 1,000 customers.
Wow.
They're licensed in 16 states. We're currently marketing the Enfiniti Global business in 7 of those. And Entrust Energy's goal is 1 million customers by the end of 2018. And the Enfiniti Global portion of that million is about 600,000. And that equates to over $150 million in commissions that Entrust Energy has set aside to pay out to us as the network marketing arm to get them customers. They're absolutely customer hungry, like a cookie monster, right?
Yes.
You just jam it in. Take as many as you can get us every single day.
Awesome.
A little bit on our management team. Jason, you've heard from today. You'll actually hear from Nettie as well this afternoon. Nettie is our Director of Field Development. She handles everything behind the scenes, including all the communications that go out, you see, via email, all the promotion information. The Global Partner Success Team reports into her, and she's just a fantastic addition to our team. Hey, Nettie. Sandy is our legal counsel. Getting to use her a lot lately. Yeah, we finally entered the realm of distributor terminations, which is unfortunate, but I guess you always have to get there at some point. But Sandy helped us in the beginning, huge help with pulling together the distributor agreement, all the legal agreements that we had to do in the beginning. It was a great resource. She came from Direct Energy as well. Harry is he has about 85 years of experience in the regulatory space. He knows all the regulatory status in every single market. He knows the commissioners in those markets. He's had to help companies get through fines and penalties and all that kind of thing. Just a great resource, and he's always giving us counsel, which Jason loves to hear. And then Frank Joya also joined us in the last year, and he's the head of our operations group. So the Global Partner Success Team is housed in another building, not in here, and he manages that entire group, which handles all of the customer care for Entrust Energy, including billing questions, collections, third-party verification, and on and on and on. And recently they implemented chat. So if you're having any trouble with a bill or a question, you can go online and chat with an agent, and that has been a huge uptick in customer satisfaction because people like to chat. They like to text because they can do other things while they're getting their issue solved. Okay, so this is a little bit about I mentioned the 79 million meters that are available. That is electricity and natural gas across the deregulated portion of the U.S. And deregulation really has occurred primarily in the Northeast and the Midwest heavily. Texas is the biggest state and probably the most advanced state in terms of opportunity and efficiency about how the industry is deregulated and running. And then California has some experience with deregulation, and we can today market in the PG&E territory in Northern California. And Entrust Energy, the reason for the magenta and the blue is they separate their businesses into a kind of an east and a west. And our east president is a guy named Carl Williams, a fantastic guy. He was the 11th employee at Ambit and stayed there for 7 years. So he knows all about not only the energy industry, but MLM. And it's been a huge help to all of us. And then our west president, who handles California and Texas, is Lane Lucene. He's a guy I worked with for many years at Direct. I recruited him in here. He was the 7th employee, and he's heading up the West business. All right, so I mentioned we provide gas and power to over 250,000 homes. We primarily sell products that are fixed term. A lot of folks are as they start to talk to people more in the Northeast, they're coming across a lot more variable product customers. And we just don't sell variable rate. The company is committed to long-term hedging supply and want to give the best possible rate they can to help consumers protect themselves for rate increases over time. So most of the products we sell are fixed rate, and we do have green options in almost every market that are here. And if you don't have green options, then you can buy rate. Take care of that. Speaking of the rec, this is one of our products that we sell. It is a renewable energy certificate. If you want to feel like you're taking dirty power off the grid and replacing it with green power by supporting wind farmers, then you can purchase a rec for $19.95 a month. And that is, it represents 1 megawatt hour of power, which is about what the average home uses per month. So you can say, I've taken my home off the dirty grid. Okay, our strategy at Enfiniti Global is to establish our network, which we have done so since we really got started in April. Today we have nearly 12,000 distributors in our company. And then we want to grow into further commodity products across time. So we've got electricity, natural gas, and RECs. New things that we'll be looking at and starting to look at in earnest include solar, which is a huge opportunity in some of the states like Arizona, California, and Texas, and even New York, which I can't imagine, but supposedly there's a big market there for solar. And LED light bulbs. Brian Johnson, where are you, Brian? We had an opportunity to visit with a supplier of LED light bulbs. Brian had told me, there's just an unbelievable opportunity, and I finally believed him when I saw it. These things are awesome. In fact, I have one. We'll bring it to the reception tonight. You guys can see it. These light bulbs are they're amazing. First of all, you can touch them. They don't get hot. They last forever. A 60-watt bulb today. How long would that last you if you put it on for 3 hours a day? Probably lasts, what, a couple months, maybe 5, 6 months. The new ones are 6.5 watts. And you run it 3 hours a day, it will last 6 years.
Wow.
It's amazing, just amazing.
Wow.
Now you're going to pay more for it, right? But there's opportunity in that for all of us to market products like that. And then, as I mentioned, we'll expand out into the other markets that we have yet to get to via interest energy, and then again expansion across into global markets. Primarily Japan, UK, Australia will probably be in the first mix of those.
Yay.
If you haven't had a chance to log in and see the back office, you can get a if you like from the person that invited you. We're making some, I'm not going to go through it in detail here, we're making some huge changes in the way the back office looks. And we actually had a group of folks in this past Thursday who got a demonstration of what it's going to look like. And anybody want to comment, kind of just 1 minute on what you saw? Bronson, you? Sure.
Phenomenal changes. The look, the feel, the user friendliness at a whole nother level. So the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
Good deal. Thank you, Bronson. And we'll implement those changes on January 13th. We'll actually have a scheduled planned outage during the middle of the day, and the new site will come live right after that. So lots of communication will go out on this. Don't feel like you have to write everything down. That starts Monday. There'll be communication via email every single week, letting people know that this change is coming and what to prepare for and all of that. So you've got a full month to work through that. I think the opportunity that everybody knows about in Enfiniti Global is that we're no fee to start. You literally don't have to pay 5 cents if you don't want to get in here and get started. You don't have to pay a website fee. The minute you sign up as a distributor, you'll have your website and you can start sharing that with people. I'm not going to go into all of the compensation plan issues today because you're fortunate to have our compensation plan engineer, architect, God, Roger Hill. and we've got Roger on the agenda for this afternoon, so I'll spare you my explanation of generational bonuses. With that, any questions before we kick off into the next thing?